Okay, so right now we've got quite a bit assembled. I'm going to go ahead and put this back on my head here. We've got quite a bit assembled. We got the kickstarter assembly, we got the main drive assembly, we got the bottom part of the transmission, we got the crankshaft, the chains are installed. Hopefully the camshaft chain will be in spec. I've got to check that later. And what we're going to do is we're going to put together the shifter and the shifter drum. So the shifter is made up of a bunch of different components. We don't need this now, that goes on the outside. There's a drum. There are 3 shifter forks. There is the neutral switch assembly, which is what tells the motorcycle that's in neutral. There's a nut, or there's a bolt, and there's a little thing that attaches to the neutral switch assembly and keeps it on the motorcycle. I have no idea why they designed it like this. Why didn't they just make this thing screw in? I have no clue. And then there's the neutral switch assembly shaft. And because I've had some trouble shifting once I've gotten this thing together, I'm going to put a little bit of assembly lube on it. And maybe that'll make things a little bit easier. And I will put that in the guides here. It's guide number 1. There's 3 because there's 3 forks. And you can be really liberal with this. This is all going to be in a huge vat of oil at some point anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The reason why I do the assembly lube is because I've seen other people do it. That's really the first reason. And the second reason is because it makes things go a little bit easier, and in that little while in which you don't have any oil inside the motorcycle when you first try to start it, in that couple of seconds, it just makes things, I'm assuming, a lot easier. And it has a tendency to really want to stick and stay on here. So I'm going to put it on that shaft. So I'm going to get all the moving parts. I already put some on here the last time I assembled this, so I think that should be okay. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to install this first. This is the drum. It goes through the larger hole here. And it spins back and forth like this, and this is what actually engages the shifting. And then because it can slide in and out, it's actually held in place with this neutral switch assembly. I have no idea which side is the side with the hole. Usually that's important. I don't feel a corresponding hole in here, so I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to say it goes towards the back because that's kind of the business end of this thing. And then you feel it engage so it doesn't move anymore. As you can see, this thing won't move in and out anymore. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get underneath here, and unfortunately you probably won't be able to see this, and but it's pretty simple to figure out how this thing goes on here. And then I'm just going to kind of dry fit this thing in here and put this nut back in. Okay. And we got the little man still watching out for other dogs. I don't know what he thinks. Is he protecting me? I don't know. It's really annoying when people walk by though, to be honest with you. Okay, so we got that installed. That doesn't move anymore. So you've got 3 forks, and these 3 forks kind of fit into these journals right here. And it's a real big pain in the ass because in the book it says fork 1, fork 2, fork 3. I already know that this fork goes on the top piece because I've cheated. I put this thing back together before. What happens is these little nubs right here go into these guide lanes, and that's what does the shifting. So what I'm going to do is, the best way to do it is just kind of start fitting them in there. And that's not that one. It's that one. And then that's this one. And then you can see that it creates a line because we're going to put the shaft inside there. And there's only kind of one way for this to go, which is that way, but that's not going to work because those are too close together. Okay, and it should go basically like that. But before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to leave that out. We're going to leave those two in, and then we're going to take the large piece of transmission here. And I don't know the names to distinguish these two pieces. There's just the piece with the clutch and the piece with no clutch. And then I'm going to get on this side here, so I can feed this through. Hopefully this goes pretty smoothly. Okay, there's the first chain. And there's the second chain. And they fit along the tensioner here. They fit within the tensioner. And they're pretty tight. Okay, so that's it. That's how that works. And now you can start to see the engine moving. But things are going to get stuck because it's not completely the way it's supposed to be yet. So this fits into that journal, and you can see these three forks have created a neat little line here. Now we can put the shaft in. Now what's important about the shaft is there's two ends. There's a end that doesn't have a hole, and there's an end with a hole. The end with the hole goes on the outside. It's incredibly important because what will happen is you'll get through the assembly of this thing, and then it's important later because something goes inside of that hole in the shifter assembly. 1, 2, 3, and they all fit together in a nice, pretty little line. There's a lot of assembly oil kind of oozing out here, and that just looks super beautiful. So what happens is, now when I turn this, it's going to turn very, very smooth. The crankshaft is going to move, and this is going to move. Although it just doesn't really look right. So this is first. Okay. This is neutral. That stops. See if I can get this thing in a second here. That's second. That's third, I think. Somewhere around here is fourth. And all the way over here is fifth. Yeah, it seems to turn just fine. So I think that works. So now we've got it mostly assembled. The next thing that we're going to do is the shifter assembly, which is probably going to be one of the longer videos. But all the mechanical innards that are actually inside the main case piece are inside there. And it looks really pretty, and it's this mechanical beauty. And it's amazing that without computers and with calculators and slide rules and stuff like that, people could put this together back in 1975. It's pretty incredible that they could design this and they could hand do everything and optimize it and make sure that it was efficient without using a computer. So, all right, we're gonna go on to the shifter assembly now.